Hi everyone, Ronnie here. You're listening to Clean With Me, the podcast where I talk you through cleaning your house. Thanks for joining me. In today's episode, we are going to go through the main areas of your entire house. So before you begin your cleaning session, you may want to freshen up a little bit. Remember, when you look good, you feel good. So sometimes that can help you get in the mindset for cleaning. Another thing you may want to do is light a candle or put some fresh wax in your wax warmer. You may want to, after you've done that, you may want to start some laundry. I always recommend getting your machines running. Get those machines working for you, meaning your washer and dryer, and if you have one, your dishwasher. So for the next few minutes, do whatever you need to do to gear up for your cleaning session, or maybe there's a glaring problem that you want to deal with. Perhaps you want to straighten up your front entrance or something like that. Let's see here. It's a busy time of year right now, so we're going to kind of talk about cleaning during the holiday season. That's been the theme lately. And then later when we get into January, we'll talk about decluttering, because I feel like once it's January and I start to put the Christmas decorations away, and it's time to get rid of some stuff. Out with the old, in with the new. You know, you get gifts and things, or your kids get gifts, and it might be time to make some donations. So yeah, that's something to look forward to in January. But right now we're going to just talk about surviving the holiday season, and more than just surviving, thriving. I saw something on Facebook that said Christmas isn't a holiday, it's a deadline. Well, I get what they're saying with that, because sometimes it can be really hectic during the weeks leading up to Christmas. However, once you've gotten everything done, then you start to look forward to it, if that makes sense. So I do get that, but if you're listening to this pre-Christmas, then you probably are kind of busy right now. And there are a lot of things. Sometimes there are a lot of social obligations, and you're kind of like left scratching your head like, why do I have to do all this stuff in addition to getting gifts for my family and planning a dinner with relatives and whatnot? But at the same time, like in different seasons of life, you need more of those activities. Like, you may feel too busy right now to get excited over an office Christmas party or something like that. But, you know, some other time, maybe in the past or in the future, you would be excited and welcome that opportunity to participate in a white elephant gift exchange or something like that. It just kind of depends on where you are. Like, I really like the idea of Friendsgiving. I'm recording this after Thanksgiving, but I like the idea of people who, for whatever reason, are not getting together with family. Maybe they don't live by family, or they're not on good terms, what have you, or they don't have much family or any family. I think it's really nice that people have things like that. Like, I remember last year our church had a Thanksgiving dinner. And, you know, whoever wanted to come was invited and could bring a dish and everything. And I thought that was really neat. But sometimes for those of us who have family stuff coming up, sometimes these additional things kind of pile up on you. Like, you know, Does anybody else get gifts for the teachers? Let's head to the kitchen. I'm trusting that you've probably started some laundry or done something, and now we're headed to the kitchen. The other day, I was facing a major disaster. We have an actual chore list that has a different person assigned each day to cleaning the kitchen. And I got up to a major disaster the other morning. I'd had a really busy day and night. And I was like, whose turn was it to do dishes? And before those words even fully escaped my mouth, I realized, looking at the list, that it was my day. I had missed my evening to do dishes. So I was, and sometimes kids will use every dish you have. And I think part of what contributed, by the way, get started on your dishes, gather them up from around the house and get started on your dishes, whatever that means for you. It could be emptying a dishwasher or a drying rack, or maybe you need to just jump right in and start washing. But get started in the kitchen, and that usually means starting with dishes. Maybe you need to declutter the countertops a little bit first and get your dishes together. But one thing that really contributed, because you kind of want to analyze the situation, like, how did I get here? And I have the show in mind too. Part of the problem why there were so many dirty dishes, some things that belong, we have a travel trailer now, and some things that belong out in the travel trailer were in the house. I think sometimes if my husband or I eat a meal in the trailer, or maybe we get back from a camping trip, I'm not sure how it happens, but sometimes we bring things in to wash inside and they don't make it back outside. So that might be relatable to somebody, but that made it to where the kids could dirty even more bowls. Okay. So anyway, here's how I approached it. It was on a morning where I had to work, but I was up early and I had some time. And at first I was thinking, I am not going to have enough time. Remember on a previous episode, I talked about like doing a dishwasher load on my lunch break. I was thinking, I'm not going to have time to do a dishwasher load plus hand wash all the stuff on my lunch break. And then I was just thinking like, wait, what am I thinking? I can do a dishwasher load now and then reboot it on my lunch break. So I felt really productive that I did this. I actually ran a dishwasher load. I threw away trash, kind of removed clutter from my kitchen. I ran the dishwasher, empty, reloaded, and ran the dishwasher, because I'm sorry, I don't start with an empty dishwasher like you might. It's always an empty, reload, and run. You know, I'm in that trap of not emptying the dishwasher until I go to load it. Ideally, you want to load it at night and then in the morning empty it and then be loading it throughout the day. I've gone through short phases where we've done that, but it's just, it doesn't usually work out. So it sounds great in theory, might work better for your family or your household. Maybe if there's just two of you, this might work. If there's just one or two of you, for sure if there's one of you, because then you're in full control. So you can do it that way. But anyway, I emptied, reloaded, and ran the dishwasher, removed clutter. It made me feel good that the machine was running. Okay. And then I just went about my work. And then on my lunch break, I did another 10, 11 o'clock is a good time. AM is a good time to think about dinner if you're going to be cooking dinner, pulling something out of the freezer. And something that I do, I tend to be forgetful, especially when I'm absorbed in my work. Sometimes I will set out the components of the dinner just in plain sight so I don't forget about it. This applies more. If I pull out some meat to thaw out on the countertop, then I know like what that's for. Like I know that ground beef's for spaghetti or whatever. Yeah, that's fine. But If when I think about dinner, I decide on something, be working on your dishes while I talk. But if when I think about dinner, I decide on something that's going to come straight out of the freezer or straight out of the fridge, like it's not something that needs to be thawed out. For example, let's say that the main dish is frozen chicken nuggets. Okay. I'm going to be talking about easy meals. Let's say that it is just going to be like frozen chicken nuggets or whatever. Sometimes if I set out just one component, it will remind me, like setting out just the can of vegetables that's going to go with it or something. Just a visual reminder in an otherwise clean kitchen. You clean your kitchen and then put something out to remind you what to make. Better yet, for me anyway, is when I start dinner early. But yeah, I don't always feel the motivation to start something in the crock pot or whatever. So it doesn't happen every day. Today, I pulled out some stew meat early in the day while I was working on one of my breaks. And I was planning to make beef stew, which, the visual reminder was there. Well, when I got off work, my husband had been home for like 5 minutes, and he was already starting on the stew just because he saw the stew meat. So that's another benefit of the visual reminder. Somebody else might come along and make dinner. Okay. It happens. So anyway, that's an idea there. Hopefully by now you have emptied your dishwasher, your drying rack, and you're well into the throes of washing dishes. Of course, you may not have a lot of dishes. Maybe I'm talking to you on a day that you have been keeping up on dishes. That's always the goal. Remember I talked about the whole dishwasher thing or whatever. And a similar system could apply as far as like a drying rack, like emptying your drying rack so that you can wash dishes and put more stuff in the drying rack. However you do things. I don't dry things immediately unless I'm literally having some kind of a party where I don't want the drying rack on display. Then I might actually put everything away. When you're having your special holiday meal or something, you might want like your kitchen to look like a showplace, or you just need more counter space for setting things out. But anyway, if you're ahead of the game and your dishes are already done, get to work on wiping down surfaces and even deep cleaning. Your bonus chore today would be to either clean a baseboard or wipe down the front of the cabinets after you do those everyday chores like wiping down the countertop, stovetop, cleaning out the sink. Don't forget to clean the area behind the sink, around the faucet. Don't forget to declutter, all the things. And then, of course, you're going to sweep at the end. So just continue working in the kitchen for another 10 minutes. Whatever needs to be done, you know what needs to be done in your kitchen. So anyway, sometimes you can run the dishwasher twice in the course of your workday if you work from home or on a day off, or if you're a mom who's not working full time. For your situation, you can, especially if you have a dishwasher, you can find time to run it. So, and if you're washing by hand, I have found that you will be more likely to keep up on the dishes. Like in situations where I either did not have a working dishwasher, or at one house that I lived in just did not have a dishwasher at all. Like, I don't even know if there was a place for one. It was years ago, but there just wasn't a dishwasher. It kind of changes up your system, and you're more likely to wash the dishes after meals. So, because you're not just, oh, no problem, I have a dishwasher, we'll deal with it later. Like, you're washing them right away. I don't know. It's a psychological thing. Anyway, be working on your dishes. I keep saying that. Easy meals. While you're in the kitchen working, I'll talk to you about meals. I recommend that during these busy seasons, I talked about all these different events going on, and sometimes you kind of wish there weren't as many events, but at the same time you understand, like, in a different season, you'd appreciate them. Like if I wasn't working full time right now, I'd probably be excited about every random Christmas event. Anyway, but maybe you just had a baby or you have toddlers and you're just like, oh, great, another thing I have to do. I feel ya. Okay. But I recommend during these busy seasons making simple meals. You want to enjoy the holidays. It's not supposed to be drudgery. So let's keep the meals simple. Sometimes even shopping can take a lot out of you. I've had a couple shopping marathons so far where my back was killing me at the end of it, and it was a lot. Okay? Yeah, it's a first world problem. We're very blessed to have the money to go out Christmas shopping, but you're still tired, you're still busy, housework's piling up, you don't feel like cooking. And, sometimes you spend so much on Christmas, you can't afford to be eating out the whole time. If that's you, I can relate. Or maybe you always have to cook at home. We usually do. I mean, with a large family, even just with 3 kids living at home, it's very expensive to go out to eat. And I know groceries are getting expensive too, but it's still a lot cheaper than going out. I recommend that you think about the meals that you have, because everybody kind of, even those of us who like to get creative in the kitchen and find recipes on Pinterest or Google new recipes, we have our certain standbys, our certain regular meals. Like if my kids like a meal, sometimes they're like, Mom, put this in the rotation, meaning they want me to start making it every week or every other week because it's something we haven't had in a while or maybe have never had. My point is, you probably have certain things in your rotation, but you may want to brainstorm a little bit and think about your easiest meals. Your simple meals are not going to be the same necessarily as mine. I'll just throw some things out there. French bread pizzas. It's something that my mom made once in a blue moon when I was growing up, but I really like the idea. Get some loaves of French bread from the grocery store and then cut those into pieces and add some like pre-shredded mozzarella and then whatever topping, or I almost forgot the sauce. Pizza sauce, pre-shredded mozzarella, and then the topping of your choice. It could be vegetables, it could be pepperoni, ham, whatever it is you like. I really love mushrooms and bell peppers on pizzas. Just fun fact about me, when I order a pizza, I tend, if just, money's no object, sometimes, you're limited to 2 toppings to get the special or something, but if money's no object, my favorite pizza has ham, mushrooms, and bell peppers. Onions would be good too, but I'm not going to pay extra just for onions. Anyway, but French bread pizzas, and then you put them on a cookie sheet and just broil them for just a few minutes. I don't know how much time. Keep an eye on them. But anyway, that's a fun one. Another one is just quesadillas. Buy some pre-cooked chicken strips. I'm talking about the ones that aren't even frozen, in the refrigerated section. And I realize some of you are overseas and you're not going to have the same stuff in the store, so sorry about that. But if you're in America, you probably have the in the meat section, like on one end, kind of some convenience products. Like there's things like mashed potatoes and macaroni and cheeses. I don't usually buy those, but there are also these pre-cooked chicken strips in a bag. They are so good, and there's different ones. There's like fajita style and some other ones. They're so good, and they're so convenient. I do use those sometimes when I make fettuccine Alfredo, but for a quick, easy meal that takes almost no effort, you could make quesadillas using like tortillas, cheese, maybe onions, and then those pre-cooked chicken strips, chicken quesadillas. And salads. Pre-made salads are really convenient. I am really big on those salad kits where, and I'm not even sure what they're called, but you probably know what I'm talking about. They're in tiny pieces and they're primarily cabbage. Like some of them have sunflowers and different sunflower seeds and whatnot. But instead of being like a lettuce based salad, there are these tiny pieces of cabbage. The great thing about them is they last longer in the fridge than a regular salad. And I'm just not a huge fan of lettuce salads. I mean, unless I'm at Olive Garden or something. I do try to duplicate the Olive Garden salads at home, and when I make the effort, they're good. But I'm really big on those cabbage ones, the cabbage salad kits. They are kind of expensive, but if you get whichever variety is on sale, you can save money that way. And the whole family just digs in. You know, I toss it in a bowl. You got to kind of mix in the dressing and other components like bacon bits or sunflower seeds, whatever it comes with. Can you tell I haven't had dinner yet? I'm recording this around dinner time. Okay. I haven't eaten that stew yet. But yeah, get some easy meals, and they don't have to be the ones I'm talking about because you might have something else in mind. Like, well, my easy meals are X, Y, and Z. Just making spaghetti with a jarred sauce could be an easy meal, especially if you buy like the frozen meatballs. Then you don't even have to like brown the ground beef. You don't have to, really dirty up another pan for that. Anyway, it's going to be specific to you. We only have a couple more minutes in the kitchen. Hopefully you've done your dishes, wiped the counters and stove tops. Bonus points if you were able to wipe down the fronts of any appliances or the cabinets. And lastly, you're going to want to sweep the floor. If you hate sweeping like I do, I recommend that you have 2 different types of brooms, a push broom and then the regular kind. Sometimes I like to go through with a push broom and then use the regular broom just to get that debris into the dustpan. I'm always on the lookout for some type of vacuum that's really good on hard floors. I always say I'm going to get one, and either I get one that's not that good or I just procrastinate for years on spending the money. But right now my system is a push broom plus a regular broom. And to be honest, usually it's my teenage son that does the sweeping. That's on his chore list. I've got that list going, so that saves me a lot of time. But I understand that you may be responsible for most of the housework depending on your family size, your living arrangement, your season of life, relationship status, all the things. You may be the one doing it, and I feel like it's easier to have a push broom. You want that other broom to kind of reach kind of under the cabinets and stuff, but to get, like, if your kitchen's big, to get those large areas, that push broom can save you some time. So get that kitchen swept up if you need to, or maybe after this episode, you're just going to vacuum your whole house in one go, and it's going to include the kitchen. You can always change the settings on your vacuum for hard floors, and I realize it may not be as thorough or whatever, but this is about just staying afloat during a busy time of year. So do what you have to do to keep things under control without too much effort. And that's it for our kitchen segment. It is time to head to your living areas. And you decide what living areas mean for you. Maybe you want to focus on an entry area. Maybe your entry area and living room are one and the same. Maybe you have a separate family room or bonus room that needs attention. Maybe you want to focus on just one living area, or maybe you want to go through and pick up all of your living areas, or maybe you're like me and you really only have one room that you call the living room. And then when I say pick up the living areas to my kids, I'm talking about my living room and entryway and the hallway. My husband saw me writing down my outline for the show, and he starts talking about, raking the leaves or sweeping the leaves that have blown onto the front porch. And I thought that he was asking me why I hadn't dealt with the leaves. Like, I totally misunderstood where he was coming from, but he was trying to give me an idea for the show. And I was like, what? A couple of days ago, I had Justin sweep the leaves off the front porch. It was more of a sweeping than a raking because it was on, concrete. But I was like, I just did that, and then all of a sudden it dawned on me. I was like, oh, he's like, yeah, when you're talking about like getting ready for company or whatever. And like, he's like, maybe, someone doesn't have kids to rake or sweep the leaves and they need to do it. And I'm like, you're right. I'm going to throw that out there. So man's perspective here, he mentioned those leaves, and maybe it's not a man's perspective because the leaves bother me too. Now, I am okay with having leaves on my front yard because we don't have a lawn. We have just gravel. But it really looks bad when for some reason we get this certain wind that blow, and I can't tell you what compass direction it's coming from, okay? I'm not good about that. It would sound better. Oh, this north wind came in. I don't know. But for some reason, the way the wind blows in our neighborhood, the leaves pile up right on our welcome mat, basically, where they're going to get tracked in. So it's kind of what I call a glaring problem. They have to get swept off, and I don't care where they go. I don't care if they go onto the gravel or whatever. There aren't a ton of leaves anyway. It just looks like a lot when they're piled on your doorstep. So anyway, there's an idea too. Like maybe your living areas are okay, but your front entrance needs attention. I don't know if I've ever talked about raking or sweeping leaves on this show. If I have, it's been years. So at least I came up with some new material there. Okay, so in any living area, in a living room or family room or bonus room, you're going to want to pick up and just, of course, pick up the floor first, but also clear off those surfaces, things that don't belong on your end table, coffee table, shelf, piano, what have you. Let's put everything away and then straighten those couch cushions and throw pillows. I recently got a couple new throw pillows. They're super cute, and I like to add pops of color with fresh, bright throw pillows. And I think it motivated my daughter to kind of position the throw pillows instead of just picking up the room and doing the bare minimum, because she's pleased about these cute throw pillows we have. So yeah, I'm all for getting little things to keep your housework fun. I mean, if you're the type of person who would love to, set out some flowers, use that as a reward, or buy new throw pillows. Use little things like that as a reward or as a motivator for yourself to clean the area, and then you get to add that fun finishing touch. So you're going to pick up, you're going to clear surfaces, you're going to straighten your couches, and then maybe you're going to need to dust if you haven't dusted in a while. It's not an everyday thing. I don't know how often you listen to my show, but maybe there's some dusting in order. And typically, the living areas are my easiest areas to clean because I don't allow a lot to build up. It's like, hey, put this away, put that away. Throughout the day, I'm telling people to put their things away. So my living areas I'm not going to say they're always pristine, but cleaning the living areas is quick for us. So if that's you, if you've got toys all over your living room or whatever, no judgment here. Definitely get it picked up. Maybe that's the area where and some people are like, wow, why do the kids play in the living room? Well, sometimes when you have small children and you're working in the kitchen, you need them in an area where you can keep an eye on them. And I totally get that. So that's why a lot of moms have kids just trashing the living room or the family room because, you need to be able to keep an eye on them while you're making dinner, doing dishes, or whatever. So, in a perfect world, you'd have a dedicated playroom, but, with a monitor or something, video monitor. Okay. But in reality, they may be messing up your living room or family room, and that's fine. Kids need to play. Kids need toys. I'm not so minimalist that, I get rid of the toys. They need toys. My thoughts on toys are, and this may not apply if you don't have small children, but my thoughts on toys are that instead of getting rid of the toys, you take some out of circulation and you rotate them. I'm really big on having a Rubbermaid tub or something up in the top of the closet out of their reach, or even out in the garage, as long as your husband's not going to throw it away or whatever, your significant other. I realize that not everyone who listens to the show is a woman. However, please keep in mind that statistics do show that about 95% of the listeners are women. So sometimes I accidentally say your husband or whatever, because I am kind of gearing the show toward my target audience. However, everyone's welcome to listen, and I always think it's neat when somebody who's not in my target demographic is listening, enjoys the show, and benefits from it. Great. I do try to be inclusive, but in the back of my mind, I am gearing the show toward ladies because that's who's listening, and probably because they relate to me. So don't be too hard on me about that. Let's see here. Oh, I was talking about rotating toys. Yeah, I'm into keeping the number of items to, I don't know what number it is, but just a limited number to where it's easy to pick up and easier for your kids to pick up. When I was a kid, and I've talked about this a while back on the show, but when I was a kid, be straightening your living areas, whatever that means for you. But when I was a kid, real quick, bonus chore. If your living room's already kind of clean or whatever, wash a window or clean a baseboard. Now's the time, especially if you're expecting holiday guests. But when I was a kid, I would dump out my toy box. I had a lot of toys. I mean, there was a phase where my grandma was babysitting me, I don't know, I think it was every weekday when I was 4 or something. My mom, I mainly know about some of this I remember, and some of it my mom has told me, but when I was 4 years old, story time, my mom used to have my dad worked with his dad. So he would take me when he left. My mom had a new baby, my brother, and my mom would send me with my dad when my dad would go to work because he worked with his dad. So when my dad would go over to his parents, he'd take me with him, and then I would get babysat by his mother, my grandma. And I remember that every time I went over there, she would take me to the store and buy me a toy. This might have been every weekday or almost every weekday. It was a lot. So I had a lot of toys, and my mom's a really good housekeeper. She always has been, from what I can remember. But I still had a lot of toys, and I had a large toy box. I would dump the toy box out, and then I would, to find something that I couldn't find. And then my mom would be like, you need to put all these toys away or whatever. You need to clean your room. And I would just be like, it's too much. It's too much. I was just overwhelmed by that huge pile. And, when I started having kids, it would be a neat ending up to the story if I said, I decided not to have a huge toy box full of toys. But actually, I just thought that's what you do. And people gave my kids a lot of gifts. There was a time with my two oldest ones who are now adults where I was getting getting them Happy Meals a lot with the toy, and the toy box was just full of them. So there was a time period where my kids had a huge toy box full of toys. And yeah, later on, I got away from that. With my youngest son, I put the large toy box out in the garage and then just kept a few items in the house for him to play with. And then, to this day, he's almost 11, but to this day, he does keep some things out there. And if he's looking for a different toy or whatever, he'll go out there and check that toy box. So, and yeah, over the years, later on with my younger ones, I started putting like Rubbermaid boxes up in the top of the closet, like I said, and rotating things out, like thinning down their toy boxes. I think at one time I had like smaller containers, like I did like drawers, different drawers for Legos and things like those plastic drawers. Like, I would recommend maybe 3 small toy boxes instead of 1 large one, because then it's easier for them to find toys and they're less likely to dump the whole thing. But mainly just rotating stuff out. So that's for those of you who have issues with toys getting spread around, especially if you're in a really small house. Some people have a large house and there's dedicated playroom and the kids are old enough that they don't need to be watched every second. Sometimes you can kind of just let that playroom slide or whatever. But yeah, for whoever needs it, it is definitely okay. And you won't have to like make those hard decisions about parting with toys that you're not sure if you should get rid of. No, just put them up for a while. And then, it'll be fun when you do the rotation and put some different ones away and bring those back out. That may not apply to you. Finishing touches in the living areas. Typically when I'm cleaning my living areas, and I don't really talk about this much on the show, but I will feed the fish, water the plants, just making the rounds, walking through your house, making the rounds, doing what needs to be done. This is kitchen related, but I didn't talk about it when we were in the kitchen. And since I said one of your bonus chores could be to wash a window, I'm just going to say that on my mental to-do list right now is washing my kitchen window. I don't know if it got sprayed with the hose or whatever, but it looks terrible, from the outside. But I need to wash that window inside and out. And it's a small window. And to me, it's a glaring problem. So in my next cleaning session, I plan to clean my kitchen window. So if your kitchen window is a problem, now's the time. Even though we're in the living areas, while I'm talking about it, it will only take me a few minutes to clean that window inside and out because it's a small window. And it's the dirtiest window in my house right now. And it's the window that I look at the most because I don't have blinds in that window. That's where I stand and do dishes and look out into my backyard. I have curtains that I can open or close. So that's a possible bonus chore. Hopefully by now you've gotten your living areas under control. Quick comment on cleaning baseboards. If you have older school-aged kids or teenagers, certain chores the kids will definitely do for money. Cleaning baseboards is one of them. It's not as grueling for kids because they don't have the back pain and whatnot. And I have found that my kids like chores that are not tedious. They'd rather clean baseboards than wash dishes or organize something or what have you. I do have one that likes to organize, but I feel like they don't mind cleaning baseboards, and it's definitely something you can pay them to do. So if I run out of time before my guests arrive, I may be paying my kids to clean baseboards on a Saturday. Bonus points if I just do it myself, but I might pay for that. And no, I don't pay my kids for every chore. Like the chores on their chore lists, they're just getting an allowance on my payday for that. But, it's a small amount. But if I ask them to do something above and beyond, I will offer money if it's, a big job or something. And obviously cleaning baseboards throughout the house would be a pretty big job. So let's move on to a bathroom. Grab your cleaning supplies if you need to clean a bathroom. If you don't, just work on something else. But chances are you need to clean a bathroom. So grab up your cleaning supplies, whatever you use, something to clean the inside of the toilet bowl, something to clean the countertop, sinks, and mirror. I was going through a phase for a long time where I would get a toilet bowl cleaning product because I like the ones that have that neck that goes up under the rim. But lately I've just been using Comet or Ajax. It's real cheap. Sometimes I'm in a more frugal mode. I'm just being real here. The important thing is that your brush reaches up where you need it to reach. And if it doesn't, put on some gloves and reach up there with a rag or a scrub brush. But anyway, whatever you use to clean your sink, countertop, mirror, maybe even a bathtub or shower, grab those supplies together. And once you have, rags or cleaning wipes, whatever you use, toilet brush, typically that's kept in the bathroom, unless you have to hide it from your kids. Like, isn't it gross how toddlers will try to get a hold of like the plunger or that brush? I've definitely kept those items in the garage before when my kids were younger. It's just so they don't get their hands on it. But now I'm in a stage of life where I keep those in the bathroom. My only local grandkid is a 6-month-old baby. So he's not getting into anything yet. He's not mobile. So I can still, I don't have to be baby proof just yet. I do watch him a lot, but I don't have to be baby proof just yet because he stays where I put him. Anyway, so once you grab your cleaning supplies, you're going to need to clear off your bathroom countertop, maybe put a product in the toilet bowl and give it a swish and then let that soak. If you're cleaning your shower, maybe spray it. And then, of course, you're going to clean your sink and countertop, the mirror, and then you're going to clean every part of the toilet. Sometimes I talk about it step by step. I'm not really going to get into it today. But once you get your basic bathroom cleaning chores done, sorry if I'm getting ahead of you, but your bonus chore is going to be wiping the cabinet fronts and or the baseboards. Typically, when I'm down on my hands and knees washing the bottom of the toilet bowl and around it, the base of it, is when I'll hit those baseboards. So that's something to think about there. And I'm not saying I do them every time, but that's the time I would do those. But the other day, or maybe it was a couple weeks ago, but I noticed in my master bathroom that I had not wiped, and I got to quit saying that, in my bathroom, I basically had not wiped down the cabinet fronts in a long time. Like, I just hadn't thought about it, but the light was hitting a certain way, and I realized that those needed to be wiped down, and then I did them. One of the goals of this show is to keep you in each area long enough for you to be observant and notice what needs to be done in that area. It may be something that I don't mention. I throw things out there and they may apply. But sometimes we get into a rut where we just do certain things like countertop, sink, mirror, toilet, floor, and we're not, thinking about those cabinets. But once you do the things that I mentioned, look around, like, what else could I do in here? Do I need to wipe down a switch plate? Do I need to clean the toothbrush holder? And you might be working on your countertop, sink, mirror, toilet, but obviously I can talk faster than you can clean, so I'm just talking about other things to do in the bathroom. I used to have just like a kind of a toothbrush cup thing, because the regular traditional toothbrush holders sometimes don't work for the bulkier, like battery operated toothbrushes. So I would get like a pretty cup, and then I would need to run that through the dishwasher when it got yucky or whatever. But in my bathroom, for some reason, I can't picture what I'm using right now in the kids' bathroom. But it might be a cup or I might have switched it. But in my bathroom, that's on my son's chore list. So my son is usually cleaning that guest bathroom / kid bathroom. But in the bathroom that's attached to my bedroom, I have this little metal thing, and it's just a little rack. It came with some type of a gift set. You know how you get these little gift sets, different things. I don't even remember what was in the gift set, but it was just for displaying something. But it's a little metal rack, and it's just the right size to hold the toothbrushes and the toothpaste up in position, but it doesn't get dirty because it's just like a little wire rack. It's hard to explain, but it's a great solution. It looks good. It looks better than like a cup that's getting dirty. But if you have a cup, maybe that needs to go in your next dishwasher load or something. So again, just be working in the bathroom. But yeah, to kind of continue the thought about where someone said Christmas is a deadline, not a holiday, I recommend getting things done as soon as you can so that you can sit back and enjoy it. You want to be able to sit down and enjoy the peppermint or pumpkin spice scent in your home while you look at the Christmas tree or, and the gifts under the tree, and just, maybe listen to some Christmas music and just relax. Take some time to just relax in a clean home and enjoy the holiday season. And the best way to do that, to have the peace that you need to relax, is to knock out that to-do list as soon as you can. Again, we're still in the bathroom, but making easy meals and keeping those machines running, even if it's before work or on a break, or while your kids are napping, what have you. Let's see. We're going to spend a couple more minutes in the bathroom. I think I forgot to mention this in the last episode I did. Taking out the bathroom trash, of course, is a part of it. Maybe relining it if you use like a liner. If you have a problem with your dogs getting into the bathroom trash, so gross, I know, do what I did and get the ones with the lids. You step on a little thing and then the lid opens up. I do need larger ones because they're super small, and I don't like having to, empty them as often as I do, but I definitely recommend having the lids. I don't have to have a lid on my kitchen trash. Fun fact about me, when I buy those kitchen waste baskets, I don't use the lid. I just put a liner in. I just prefer to put things in an open one so that I'm not touching the lid or dirtying the lid. It just kind of gets in the way. And the reason I can do that is because it's a taller wastebasket and the dogs don't get in it. I'm not going to have one that tall in the bathroom. That'd look funny, but I don't use a lid on the kitchen trash. So I give you permission to get rid of the lid of your kitchen trash if it bugs you. So yeah, my dogs kind of hoard. So let's move on to the final segment of the show. And I'll talk about, I said dogs plural. One of my dogs is a hoarder, only one. But in this last segment, I'm going to give you a choice. Either clean a bedroom, change the bedding in one of the bedrooms, or do some pet chores. You decide what needs to be done in your house. Maybe you want to head into your bedroom and make the bed and pick up the laundry, do that. Or maybe you need to clean someone else's room that you're responsible for, such as a small child or an elderly family member you care for. Or maybe you need to change the bedding on one of the beds. I just changed our sheet last night, our bottom sheet. I think I talked about in another episode the dogs getting like kind of sand on the bed. It's really just one dog that's allowed on my bed, but she gets a little sand on it. So instead of dusting it off or whatever. I just changed the sheet real quick. So maybe you need to do something like that. Here's what I mean by a random pet chore. Maybe you need to head out to the backyard and pick up after your dog, or maybe you need to wash a dog bed. Maybe you need to clean the cat litter. I mean, obviously you need to scoop every day, but then there's that deep clean where you need to wash, dump it out and replace the litter. And if anything sticks, wash it out. Gross, I know. That's my daughter's job because I never asked to get a cat. I used to like cats. Don't be mad at me if you're a cat lover. I used to like cats. There was a time that I had 3 cats in the house. But now I'm not so much of a cat person. And I'm more of a dog person. Just I've evolved into a dog person. So, but we do have a cat in a litter box. It's just not my job to deal with it, but it's my job to enforce that it gets done. So I'm reminding you about that. There was something I was going to mention earlier. Oh, the hoarding dog thing. Yeah, this is like the most unrelatable chore I'm going to give you. But if your dog is hoarding in its crate, you may need to throw that stuff away. That's something that I delegate. My dog is a blue heeler. That's my beloved pet. And then I have another dog that I thought was going to be a beloved pet, but she's one of those one-person dogs, and she's just bonded to my 13-year-old daughter. So she doesn't really listen to me, the dog, not the kid. She doesn't really listen to me. If I call her, she'll kind of just jump into my daughter's lap, like, help, I don't know. It's weird, but my blue heeler loves me, but my Boston Terrier, and my family and I do breed Boston Terriers. She's been health tested and all the things, and she's actually pregnant right now, so that's exciting. But she is my daughter's pet mainly. Anyway, she has a very large crate that she goes into she has a bed in there. She can't be trusted to just have free run all the time in the house like my other dog can, So, but she doesn't mind because she's in this huge crate with a bed and her toys or whatever. But when it's open and she is, having free time around the house, she brings things in there. And I mean, it could be something she pulled out of the trash, whatever. She just somehow brings garbage. So maybe she can reach the trash. I don't know. But somehow she brings random garbage into that, and it needs, like, her crate needs to be decluttered. You would think it would be a matter of just, washing her little dog bed and then vacuuming out the pet hair. No. First, you got to remove all the clutter that she has dragged in there to hoard. So, anyway, and she used to hoard things under my bed, but yeah, I haven't been letting her in my room. So, my dog is allowed in my room. Anyway, it is, let's see, we've got about 5 more minutes left in this 1 hour cleaning session. So again, clean a bedroom, change the bedding on a bed, or do a pet chore. A bonus chore in your bedroom could be cleaning out your nightstand drawer. If you're new to the show, when I mention a bonus chore, you're kind of like, how do I get bonus points? Like, it's just a figure of speech, but what it means is it's something that you don't do every day. Because what I try to do is throw in some deep cleaning tasks and intermingle them with your routine daily or weekly tasks. Something that you wouldn't do very often, like cleaning out your nightstand drawer. If you tend to just stick things in the nightstand drawer, and this happens with any drawer, it gets too full and then you can't find what you're looking for. So that's not something that you need to do all the time. I mean, you're not cleaning out your nightstand drawer on a regular basis, I wouldn't think, but that's why I call it a bonus chore. It's really just a deeper cleaning task that I throw into your cleaning session, because I'm not usually, I mean, I have some like 2 hour episodes, I think, very few, but usually I don't just do a complete overhaul on my whole house where, I work for 8 hours and do every possible deep cleaning task. I'll kind of do those things one at a time. And especially, during a busy season, you're probably not, doing everything in one day. You've got to kind of spread it out. Now, don't get me wrong. The day before company arrives, there's going to be some serious cleaning there's going to be some serious cleaning going on. But I'm still trying to chip away at the little things as I go. So, and if the nightstand thing doesn't resonate with you, maybe pick one baseboard and clean it. And again, that's something that your kids, if you have kids that are old enough to clean, that's something they may be willing to do. I remember when my oldest daughter, Jessica, the other host of the show, was a teenager, I remember sometimes just offering her $30 to clean the whole house. And a teenager can do a lot when you offer them $30. Let me tell you, they'll do a lot. Because, you've got to kind of give them a list of things and then tell them, it's got to be a good job to be worth the $30 and everything. And they'll do it. So if you're a mom of a teen, that tip might help you. And maybe they need Christmas money. Several days ago, I offered each of my 3 kids who are living at home. I have a total of 6 kids, 3 living at home. I offered all 3 of them $30 each Christmas money. I did specify that it was Christmas money because I didn't want them to just blow it. I wanted them to buy each other gifts. But I offered them that to clean the entire house. And I was working, so I didn't really give them the specifics. I mean, I might have made a few suggestions, but they had it looking pretty good. I was surprised, and I was thinking, like, it's a shame I have to pay them to get them to do this good of a job on it, but I digress. Anyway, I hope you got a lot done during this episode. Try not to feel like the holidays are drudgery. If you do a little bit each day and you get your machines working for you and you keep meal times simple and you get your Christmas shopping done as early as possible and not wait till Christmas Eve, you can enjoy this season. So special thanks to my financial supporters on Patreon and Jessica's financial supporters on Patreon. Also, special thanks to everyone who's given us a positive review. We can't really reply to Apple Podcast reviews necessarily or reviews on other apps, but we do appreciate those positive reviews. And, thanks for following us. Don't forget to follow us on the Clean With Me podcast page on Facebook, page or group. I always forget if it's a page or a group, but don't forget to follow us on Facebook. Anyway, most of all, just keep listening to the show. I appreciate each and every one of you. Happy holidays, and as always, happy cleaning. I'll talk to you in the next episode.